Well, our next speaker is going to let us know what type of approach she had to take when it came to uniting her blended family. Please welcome to the stage Erica Day with rose-colored glasses.
Welcome to the stage, Erica Day, sponsored by the Pittsburgh Foundation.
Love and happiness. Good love. Ooh, I'm talking about a good love. I need the sweet, yeah, no, sweet love. Oh, no. I need a love and happiness.
Have you ever worn rose-colored glasses? Like started a new job and were convinced it'll be a great place to work and you never want to leave? Rose-colored glasses. Given birth to a child and just knew they'd be your mini-me, and motherhood would be like a walk in the park on a beautiful day. Rose-colored glasses. Auditioned for a monologue show and thought you'd have to write your story once and then get up on stage and not be nervous. Rose-colored glasses. Now, I would never call myself an optimist. I'm the one that's going to give it to you straight. I'm going to keep it real. But when I want something to work, like so many mamas, I tend to only see the good things possible, and I push the negatives to the back of my mind. Now, that normally works out for me. But those aren't the glasses you want to wear when blending a family. I had been a single boy mom for almost 10 years when I met my first love again. I met him when I was 12, and he was my first boyfriend. After 22 years, we reconnected and got married quickly. And just like my son JB and I came as a package, so did my husband and his 3 sons. All boys, Lord? Really? And then the rose-colored glasses were magically perched on my nose. God takes care of babies and fools. And as you can tell, I ain't been a baby in a long time. At the time, his boys were 15 and 12-year-old twins. At 9 years old, JB was the youngest, and he really seemed to like them. He was excited to have brothers. They all seemed to get along pretty well. And even though they didn't spend a lot of time together, those glasses had me convinced that everything would work out. It would work out because I loved him, and he loved me, and I loved his boys because they were his, and he loved my boy because he was mine, right? I was overly optimistic. The twins were not used to a mother figure due to their own mother's neglect and their grandmother's emotional abuse. But I was convinced all I had to do was give them the love and kindness that they had never gotten. But from the beginning, the twins reacted to me in completely different ways. Twin number 1 would follow me wherever I went. Twin number 2 ignored my existence. Junior, the oldest boy, had ADHD, but I was determined that we could overcome that as well. I embraced all of them. I would often take them with me to church events and when I taught teen Bible study. And as we'd walk home, Junior and twin number 2 would rush ahead and get home before me. And by the time I walked in the door, I could feel that the energy had changed. What was happening is that they were telling their father some kind of story that involved something I did or said when I was with them. It would usually imply that I did something unfavorably to them while favoring JB. And my husband would blow up. Now, at that time, there was no point in me saying anything because he wasn't in the mood to listen. It would take him days before he would calm down, apologize, and willingly listen to what I had to say. And then I would tell him the whole story. Now, I never said everything I wanted to say at those times because I didn't want the argument to escalate further or blow up. But it became a pattern, and I was tired of it. I was muting myself to keep the peace, but nobody else was doing that. Here I was, trying to be a good mom, but I was being lied on, unappreciated, and my husband did not have my back. I told myself the next time it happens, I'm going off. So on that particular day, another event at church, the boys went home way earlier than I did. And when I stepped in the front door, I could feel the tension in the air. And of course, my husband went off. This time, Junior had told him that I had corrected him, but not JB. Well, I did correct him. He needed to be corrected. But JB wasn't even in the room. I couldn't say that at the time, so I just stopped and listened. Now, I wasn't listening to understand. I was waiting to respond. And after he was done blowing up at me, I took those rose-colored glasses and tossed them somewhere never to be seen again. And I said, listen, I do not wake up in the morning dreaming of new ways to treat your children unfairly. You know they don't like structure. They would prefer things to go back to the way they used to be. If you don't trust me with your kids, why are we even married? And as your wife, you should give me the benefit of the doubt and talk to me calmly before blowing up at me and believing everything they say. Because if this keeps happening, your kids are going to get what they want, you alone. And I walked away. I didn't care how he felt about what I said. I didn't care if the argument blew up. I said what I said. And sure enough, the silent treatment began. I did not agonize over this. I went on about my life. I was cordial and polite. I decided that if he didn't want to talk to me till Jesus came back, that was his problem. I'd be fine. My superpower is being able to ignore anything or anybody that disturbs my peace. And I activated it. 2 weeks later, he decided to talk to me again. And I calmly explained the real story. This time, he listened. After seeking advice from a family therapist, we decided to use a strategy called the family table. The rules were, any member of the family could call a family table. We would all gather, and each person could speak without being interrupted. We told the boys that if they had any issues at all, they were to discuss them at the family table. No longer would they be able to go to a parent privately and then watch the blow up. And it worked. When Junior realized he could no longer manipulate his dad, he decided to go live with his mom. Eventually, they moved out of state. And to this day, he does not speak to me unless it's absolutely necessary. That's not how I envisioned things working out. But those glasses made sure I never thought about what could actually happen. But when I took those glasses off, I began to look at things more realistically. I began to pray more than I ever had in my life. I still put in the effort, but I no longer held myself responsible for the outcome. I trusted God to give us the victory, and that He has done. In 2020, that victory became very apparent around Thanksgiving. My husband was hospitalized, and I had injured my back. And I realized that I wouldn't be able to give the boys the food and family-filled holiday that I normally provided. I was going to need their help. Okay, y'all, if you want your normal Thanksgiving, I need you to take this list and go shopping. And they said, okay. And when I realized I couldn't stand for longer than 30 seconds, I said, if you guys want the broccoli casserole and the macaroni and cheese, you're going to have to make it. I'll sit in the kitchen and walk you through it. And they said, okay. And not only did they do what I asked them to do, they paid for the groceries, and they cleaned my house. They added their own touches to the menu. They made my plate and cleaned the kitchen afterwards. And when I expressed my gratitude for everything they had done, they simply smiled at me and said, of course. Of course. I looked around my home on that Thanksgiving day, and it was filled with so much joy and laughter. There was no issues at this family table. There was no stress. I was truly thankful, and my heart was full. I was able to be a part of this beautiful scene because I believe in love, and that love has been returned to me abundantly. I used to think it would have been nice to have a daughter, just one. You know, because boys are messy. They break things. Nothing ever stays the way you want it. You know they've been in a room by the mess they leave behind. And let me tell you, going into the bedroom of twin boys is risking your life unless you hold your breath or wear a gas mask. But I got used to it. I told myself, just face it. You're a boy mom. That's just the way it is. And also in 2020, twin number one became a daddy. And I've got my girl. To keep it simple, we'll just say, I'm crazy about her, and she's crazy about me. God did not deny my prayer. He answered in a way that I did not expect. When I got rid of those rose-colored glasses, I had a choice to make. Was I going to keep trying to make things work on my own, or was I going to stand up for myself and let God take care of the rest? My husband has often sincerely thanked me for being the mother they needed. He says he doesn't know how they would have turned out if it wasn't for my involvement in their lives. But I didn't do this for recognition. I had no ulterior motive. I've done all that I've done because I love them, and I love their father. They are all my sons. I believed in love, but I no longer wear the rose-colored glasses. I've got the sons I didn't know I needed, and the girl that I always wanted.
Be right here, right here, be right here. No, no fear, have no fear. Right here, love is here, right here, be right here, be right here.